Hi all, this is Patrick, and together with Joey, we were invited by the HBAR Foundry to do a presentation on gaming. So that's what we're going to do today. And well, most of us know us, of course, as Earthlings. We're building a metaverse game, more a game actually than a metaverse, but we'll get back to that as well. So Joey, you got any first words to start off with this presentation?
No, I'm just really excited at the progress we're making right now and looking forward to being able to share with people that have been around and new people.
So what we're going to do with this presentation, actually, Joey and I wanted to take a look at the whole gaming space and share our view on the gaming and metaverse space in Web3, because we've learned so much while building out this game the last 2 years. Today, we want to mainly talk about gaming and what to look at when you look at any game project and what we think is important. And of course, we're not saying that we have the golden formula here. So we don't want to come across like we know everything, but we would like to share some knowledge that we picked up in the last 2 years. So it can help you to decide on whether or not to dive into a new project that has to do with gaming. And the first question that we want to ask ourselves is there a difference in Web 2 and Web 3 gaming? Well, we like to believe that, yes, there is a difference because, and there's many differences there, of course, but one of the biggest differences that we saw is that Web 3 gaming till now, and it's changing luckily, is mainly hype driven. And we'll get to the numbers a little bit later in this presentation as well, where you can really see that. And where Web 2 games, especially where you see all these indie studios, really know they need to deliver a game where they can get the masses in to really play the game. And that's their primary goal. And that should also be the same goal in Web 3. So before we do a deep dive into gaming and metaverse and our view of it, let's first introduce ourselves. And best to do that, to see what we are building, is maybe with a little compilation, a clip of all the things that we've been building so far. So about Earthlings, well, you saw the clip, so that's who we are. We really think that quality in design and gameplay is very important. And of course, it starts first with design. First impression of what you give to people is what they go at, of course. And we do build with another approach. We like to think so than most games that have been built so far. Luckily, we see a big change in the space where we do see quality games now more being rolled out on Web 3. So what are the things that we look at? So building with gamers in mind. I already said that. And Joey and I are very much on the same page here, of course. If you don't build with a Web 2 approach, where you first look at what gamers want, then you're not taking the long approach. Then you're just building on the hype again. You're building something that looks cool. And when it comes out, the gameplay is not really suitable for gamers and they will lose interest in the long run. And well, that's not the long run, long-term approach. And that's what we like to do different. Also, what we see a lot is that in Web3, the difference between trailers and the gameplay is so big often. Because they present you with a trailer and you think that's amazing, mind-blowing, looks great, but they haven't started building yet. And 2, 3, 4 years down the line, they present their game. Maybe they do some stuff in between, but usually what I see is that they don't show anything. And then a few years later, some things come out and it doesn't even come close to a trailer. With Earthlings, what you see is what you get. Transparency. Joey, what do you think about transparency? Is it
I think
important?
it's close to everything, right? You want to keep people informed and keep them updated and let them know if there's a hiccup. I don't think we've taken the route of hiding anything, sometimes showing too much too soon, but the open line of communication with people that love the brand and love what we're trying to accomplish is forefront of what my role is with the company, and I think everybody takes that approach.
Most games actually just wait for a few years before they show anything. But if you have a community that is deeply invested in your project, yeah, you do feel, of course, that they have a right to see certain things already, that they see what we are doing with money raised. But another thing of transparency is, of course, if you Google the team members of any project, can you find them? Because in Web2, if you have a business, would you do business with a project where you can't find who the owner is? Usually you shake their hands, of course, it's in real life, but here it's all online. And if you don't know who the people are behind it, so for us, this is something that we value highly, that you can find the owners, because, and I'm not saying it's a guarantee of success, of course, not at all, but it shows that the owners of the project, the builders, take responsibility for what they're doing. Yeah, so and breaking outside the Web3 bubble, if you, again, just build a game where you run from A to C, you can't lose, or again, use a template. I see that many times, Joey, I've shown you, I think sometimes as well, where you just buy an Unreal Engine template and you build a shooter game very fast, and you try to compete with any, you can't compete with a template with any other quality shooter game. So again, a shooter game or a zombie game, you see that a lot. So, but if you really want to break out the Web3 bubble, you need to try and build something unique. Go indie style. All these indie studios, they need to be unique and need to think out a unique concept, because they can't compete with these big studios if they don't. You wanted to say something, Joey? Sorry.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing for me coming from outside of the artistic and development space in gaming. It's pretty easy to go in Unreal, for example, and purchase some templates and do a really good promotion or a 3 minute of gameplay and sell that. But I think the real skill comes in putting together a team that actually creates its own art and isn't trying to sell a game based on templates, and that's harder. And for me, coming from a place of not understanding how games are made, that was the biggest light bulb moment in the difference in what you see in a lot of these demos and promotionals from games that get thrown together. And what I'll say is a heartbeat versus what we're doing, where we're building from scratch and creating our own identity.
So yeah, we do everything ourselves. All the buildings, even these seats that you see here and the tables, it's built by our team. So because you want a unique style, and that comes to the next box. Quality comes first in gameplay and design. That some people are still building on hype, thinking they can put something together with some templates, with some bought assets, and then really build something that can compete with Web 2. But you shouldn't. So yeah, quality comes first in gameplay and design, and you can't rush these things. If you could build these games in 2 weeks, well, you know, you don't see studios like Epic or Blizzard or Ubisoft building these games in a few weeks. No, of course not. It's a long process, and I said it before in another interview. If people think that we can build this in a couple of months, then they really need to scratch their heads on how unique are we going to be and what are we using. So last point, using Web3 to enhance experience, not to sell it. Yeah, Web3, we do think that Web3 has a big future in gaming, but as said, gaming should come first. And I think, Joey, we have some other pages where we talk about this as well. Yeah. So let's not go too deep on it now. But these are some pillars, that the pillar stones that we value highly for Earthlings. So what do we have here? We have Web 2 versus Web 3. But on this page, we like to educate people and show people what is still possible in Web 3, because not everyone really understands that. So this is the daily user count of the 2 biggest Web 3 games compared to the top 100 ranked Web 2 games. So Black Myth Wukong, it looks amazing. It's really an amazing game. So it's end of August, I think, at the time of recording, I checked this 1 or 2 days ago. It had 2 million, more than 2 million peak daily users. That's the number one. So it costs around $60 to get to start playing. You can look it up on Steam. So, well, do the math. So Valheim, it's a little bit older, that game. It's also a very popular game. So now ranking number 100 has 23,000 peak daily players, but they managed 500,000 peak daily players at a certain time. So these are the numbers that are very common in Web 2 gaming. And even if you go to ranked 200 games, they sometimes even get these numbers. So let's compare that to Sandbox and Decentraland. Why did we pick those? Because in the last bull run, and since long, the other projects are gaining on them, but that's just since short. They also say that they are a gaming project, and they had such big market caps. So Sandbox, or all-time high market cap, was $7.5 billion. So that was the value of that project at that time. Decentraland, almost 10 billion. But the peak daily users were not even 700. So they just on one occasion, I think on 1 or 2 days, they managed to get a little bit above 1,200. But it shows how hype is still driving the value of these projects. And luckily more and more people are seeing that. I see some comparisons on the bottom of the page. Joey, what's that?
Yeah, I mean, when we were doing the research, the market caps for these metaverse games was astounding last bull run. It's when you look at Decentraland alone being completely unfinished product and development, more than double the market cap of even something like HBAR. It really blew me away, and we could talk about inflated values versus product delivered, which is glaringly obvious. I think, yeah, it's nice to have a huge market cap, but where the focus lies, if you see peak daily users, you want to attract those people that want to play your game and want to give it a sustainable life, not so to speak, a one-hit wonder where you build up a bunch of hype, people buy into your brand, and you're not delivering the top quality projects. I think from Earthlings, our goal would be to be on the top half of this list, as opposed to the bottom half. You know, it would be nice to have an insane market cap, but the real end goal for us is to have a high number of peak daily users, people that are playing our game, enjoying it, and everything else will come from that.
Yeah, you do see more quality games popping up now in Web3. So it's not us, it's not only us who are seeing this, but yeah, they clearly didn't take the long term approach, because yeah, if you go into Sandbox, gamers are not really interested in that. So who do you have in there? You've got the landowners, but these landowners, they don't stick around for the whole day to go and play. And even then, you know, if you have like 1,000 landowners, or yeah, probably more there, they're not going to fill up the metaverse. So they never thought about this dilemma, the gamer's dilemma, you could say, how to really get people in there. Because I couldn't. You see a lot of these movies where you see these avatars dancing, and some of these metaverses really show that for like 2 minutes long and say how cool that is. But it's 30 people in a humongous space, because you have server limits. All these games and metaverses have server limits, so you can't have 10,000 a stadium filled up with 10,000 people. So maybe then it will be cool. But yeah, how long is that funny for? Maybe for 5 minutes, but gamers want to keep being engaged, and it's gaming who invented the metaverse, because it's just basically online, being together online in a virtual environment. And we've seen that the gaming industry did that with success already, and is still doing that. So if you neglect gaming, then what do you have? So yeah, but what you said about Hedera, that's just amazing, eh? That Decentraland had twice as big of a market cap as a real utility quality chain like HBAR. Joey, is Web3 the future?
I think there's no question. I think there's a disconnect between what gamers think they want and what they actually want. I think that the negative connotation for Web3 and NFTs in games is driven by some of the early games that I don't want to play a game just to farm a few dollars a day, and I don't want to play a game that I have to pay my way to success. They want to play a game because it's fun, and they want skins and assets in the game. And I hear so often that, well, I don't care about making money on it, which is completely fine. But I think for the mass majority of people, that if they don't use a skin or item anymore, or decide to switch to another game, or even take their skin or asset to a different game, that ability is difficult, rare, or borderline against the rules in most Web 2 games. In Web 3, as it slides into mainstream gaming, you'll be able to easily sell those assets. You don't have to pay your way to win with games like Earthlings.land. And there's a future where you'll be able to hold on to your assets in any wallet and potentially use those in other games or ecosystems. And I think once that message is clear and the ease of use is there, Web 2, full-time, casual, any gamer will embrace the Web 3 without even knowing that they've embraced it, right? So there'll be a point where it'll feel exactly like their current gaming experience, but all of a sudden there's a value to what they've done and their gameplay.
There's no getting out of it. It's the future, and you see, I already named them, Blizzard and Ubisoft, Epic Games, of course. They are all already building with Web3 features. If you can use it as an enhancement, then why not? Ingredients of a successful game on Web3. So gameplay needs to be fun, quality, graphics, and sound, because it's just what gamers want. Also, no need for wallet. This is something that we both really are fixed on, aren't we, Joey?
Yeah, that's the big thing. We've been around a long time in Web3 and crypto, and using different wallets on different chains. It's been my biggest gripe from day one, and the difficulty of accessing a new wallet, learning a new chain, learning a new wallet. That's a hurdle that we shouldn't have to educate people. You don't want to have to teach people something brand new. I'd rather them take their time to learn how to succeed playing the game than have to jump hurdles just to play the game. If we can make it seamless, and they can play the game without ever having a wallet, and only when they decide that they want to own or transfer their assets, that wallet integration is completely painless and can be done for almost no cost, and doesn't have big hurdles. That's when we know we've made it on the Web3 wallet, the backend side of it.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be if we can make it seamless, because when we all the games that we will throw out there, you won't get this pop-up connect your wallet. You can just start playing, and if they then like the game, and of course the Steamer is just an example where it's an add-on game that's more community driven for us, but yeah, we did want to make it look good. But also there, you can opt in to connect your wallet, but you can play it without as well, and you can unlock all the avatars, you can buy them. So we'll have a slide for that as well that ties into that with the Steam and Water token, and maybe we'll get back to them. But if I open any game, and we are in Web3, Joey, and we see the first thing is create a wallet or connect with your wallet, we usually don't do it. Maybe the people that are on your chain, they will.
That's right.
But you want to go outside your chain bubble that you are in. You want to go to, well, you want actually you want to be multi-chain. As you said just now, gamers, they don't even care about what the technology is behind it. They just want to play the game. And if it's on Hedera, Cardano, Solano, they don't care. So yeah, no need for a wallet. That's something that we value highly. No crypto experience needed. Yeah, that's what you said as well. Give NFT owners an incentive. So what do we mean with that? I'll go a bit into that as well. So especially if you look at metaverses, where you can own land and you can dwell in there. We spoke about this gamer's dilemma. How are they going to get more people in? Because people who don't own land in a metaverse, they're not going to be in there. They're not interested. Yeah, they might peak. I know from you, Joey, that you peaked a bit in Decentraland and you ran out after 5 minutes, maybe sooner. But because there's what's the interest of being in there if it's not fun to be in there? And these landowners, they just wait. That's what I want. They want their land value to go up. They ride the hype. So we are giving our landowners incentive to not just sit back and see what happens, but also to invite their buddies from the gym or their nephew or their sister or brother or whoever. And we do that with gamers plots. So where you make a little of the earnings that they do in the game. And that's what landowners want, because usually landowners, not all of them, but a lot of them are not gamers. But if you can incentivize them to really draw in new people, then yeah, you help them grow your project. But for that, you do need to have proper ingredients, because if Joey would own land on Decentraland and he would tell me, hey, come and play in Decentraland, and I'll be there in 5 minutes, I'll be out again. So yeah, so these incentives we're going to see in the next slides. But proper tokenomics. Joey, tokenomics are important. You know more about this than I do. Are there perfect tokenomics?
No, there's always changes and adjustments and things that are going to be tweaked. Just like the game, it's always evolving. You have a baseline for the rules and things you want to provide to people, but with the tokenomics, it's not necessarily about quick hype and quick turnaround. It's more about the longevity of the project and supporting the people that are actually playing through rewards and incentives. You know, it's not difficult to get people farming your token by the thousands if you give them the ability to make a living on your game, whether it's fun or not. And we've seen that mistake from some highly successful games that you know have been at the top of articles and the top of charts. But what you find is that it becomes a business, especially for parts of the world where it doesn't take a lot of money to earn a living. And nothing against those people, but really, if you want to be sustainable, the tokenomics enhance the game. They aren't the only reason that people are playing the game.
Yeah. So let's first go back to the incentive, and then we'll see a bit more about the tokenomics with the tokens that we created. So what are the incentives? So I said that if you invite one of your friends to come over and also play this game, you want to give them something that they don't walk away from in 5 minutes. So you need to give them a quality game. So, and that starts, of course, with a good look and feel. You need someone to create a design for your user interface. That needs to look good as well, because you want to compete with quality projects. So this is actually already finished on the background. Marcel is, was actually yesterday and is today tweaking this a little bit with Arto, one of our builders, because we have, for instance, a clothing customization tool as well. This is just the image that I got from Marcel, so there are some errors in here. I'm not going to explain what's going to be different, just see this as concept, but the layout, the design is exactly as you see here, because all these details matter. Gamers are used to quality design and gameplay, so that's what you need to deliver. And for that, you need someone like Marcel who can also design good-looking interfaces. Also, the game, this is what the game looks. If we show something in a preview, this is what you will be walking in Earthlings.land. And of course, then gameplay needs to be as good as well. So the whole world, every scene needs to be looked at. If you go into the game, you need to feel like indeed you want to go into the alley, see what else is there. So what do you see here? For instance, you could own this whole building here. So this is an example of what's to be expected when you have a city plot. We already had a city trailer. You saw it actually in the first image of this video, but that was actually the first preview. People always want to see what we're working on, but we're also always improving. And even this one will have some little improvements, but I hope you like what you see here. So the incentive should be a quality game, but also how do we approach Web2 gamers as well? This is something that's more in your department as well. So what do we do with water, Joey? So
we kind of took the playbook for Roblox and the Robux. If in the US, especially if I'm at any checkout counter in a supermarket or a pharmacy that sells gift cards, you see Robux for sale, $20, $50, $100 gift cards. And it just struck me that parents and grandparents and kids are saving their allowance and buying Robux to go in to Roblox and buy skins and assets. And it happens for most all successful Web2 games, that there's external spending to enhance the gameplay. And we wanted to do that without forcing people to learn how to use and speculate on cryptocurrency. So what we've done is created water for the Web2 experience. So with that, it's a rewards token. People will be able to go into Earthlings and buy the water token and go to a marketplace and shop, but there'll be rewards given back. So if you play, you can earn water for completing quests or challenges. You'll be able to transfer water to another user. If you're buying, say, NFTs with your Steam, percentage of that purchase will be provided to the user in water. So there'll be a marketplace. So it's a dual token system. Water won't be on a chain. It won't be available on any centralized or decentralized exchange. Steam will. So Steam will be the main currency of Earthlings.land, which is why Steam will be the first currency available in Steam Runner when it's fully available. That token will have more access to the game, but you won't be limited in what you can do before you own Steam, which is why water is so important. It gets people in, it gets people playing our add-on games and our big game when it launches, and we will slowly hold people's hand and introduce them to Wallet and Steam and how that works. Yeah, so gamers won't be discriminated, so to say, and because as soon as they feel discriminated, they're gonna
talk down on us again. Another Web3 game where you need to buy yourself in. That's not what we want. There is a misunderstanding about play to earn. We like to say play and earn, but we actually rather not talk about that at all. But it's that sometimes people seem to think in Web3, yeah, but gamers don't want to spend money to start playing. No, that's not true. We just spoke about this amazing game that's now ranked #1. It costs you $60 to start playing. They love to play it. Well, more than 2 million people, my guess is like around 3 million already bought that game. So it's not about that, but you need to give them something back. So you need to give them what they are asking for. If I go to the movies, I don't mind paying for a movie because I know what I get back is entertainment. So you need to give them entertainment. That's all. Another comparison of global gaming and crypto engagement is what people fail to look at sometimes is how big is the Web3 space and how big is the Web2 space when it comes to gaming. Web2 gaming, almost 40% of the population, so around 3.2 billion people are gamers. Almost half of the population are gaming. If you address those people, you're tapping into an immense pool of people who might come to your game. You only need a fraction of a percentage of these people, and you'll have thousands of players. We just spoke about Decentraland, who has had 700 daily peak users and achieved a market value of almost 10 billion. Can you imagine the market value of the same project with like 10,000 or even 5,000 real players? So that's how you need to look at it. So where do you get these players? Well, by addressing the Web2 gaming space and not looking at Web3. Why? Well, let's look at it. So I Googled it, and so I hope Google was right. So did a little research, and it said Web3 crypto owners. So there's about 560 million, but not all of them are interested into gaming or metaverse. We need to break it down a little bit more. Web3 users often stay within their own blockchain bubble. So what we see is that Solana fanboys, they only buy projects, usually only buy projects that are built on Solana. Same for Cardano, and maybe even the same for Hedera. So there's a bubble. So you need to narrow it down even more. And only a portion of those people who are in love with their own chain like metaverse or gaming. So again, there you need to narrow it down. So for instance, XRP has a little over 5 million active accounts. And from that, only a small portion is interested in gaming. And to my experience, gamers are not always interested. Well, we know actually that it's true. If you do a little digging, most gamers don't want to have to do anything with crypto. So a large portion of that are not interested in gaming, they just want to buy land and see if it goes up in value. So if you want to fill up your game, you need to address this Web2 gaming space where 3.2 billion people are really gamers. They are interested in gaming. So if we can make that shift, if we can get them into the Web3 space, can you imagine bringing these two worlds together? Get Web3 and Web2 together. Get big numbers in your game of real gamers spending their money, real money, strengthening your token at that same time. And that's the thing, that's the approach that we like to take. And that's why quality game is so important. So I think you came up with this image at a certain time. Do you want to say something about this?
Venn diagrams are a pretty popular topic right now in the US, and this is a really good example of where we stand now. If you look, Web3 gaming is just a tiny percentage of total gamers, and there aren't very many games that have successfully crossed the line to attract Web2 gaming players. And that's current, and we understand that current market. What we see for the future is that a lot of Web3 games, quality Web3 games, will be coming to market. And many of those will, like us, hopefully attract a percentage of those Web2 gamers. So as that Web3 gaming market grows, Web2 gaming will inevitably be a part of that. And we hope to be right in the middle of that mixture and blend and grow Earthlings as well as help to grow the Web3 gaming space.
And as industry giants, the gaming studios are also now slowly moving towards Web3 gaming. There will come more and more, and we're aiming for that as well, of course. There will be more and more quality Web3 games, and people will start playing them. And if they then get rewarded, because that's another thing. They say, yeah, get rewarded for your gameplay. Yeah, but then you need to have a cool game, you know? So, but if they then see that, hey, after a few hours of gameplay, maybe even after a few days, they see that what they've been playing is a game that could even make you some money if you want, then you have them, because then you get a big group of gamers that will start looking for more of these games where they are indeed rewarded for their playtime. But using getting rewarded for your playtime as a sales pitch or sales argument, I don't think that's a good point, because then you're not getting what gamers want, and you're just telling them, hey, make money with us. No, that's not what they want. But if it's the other way around and they find out, hey, I'm even making money, yeah, then that's the good way. So not the other way around. So, but yeah, here it shows, and less than 100K daily users. Well, sometimes it's a bit difficult to look at the exact numbers, so see this as an estimate, but the image says enough, I guess. So, and we like to be in the forefront of this new era of Web2 and Web3 gaming, where we get both groups together. So, is it then so that Web3 has nothing to offer for gaming? Well, we have ownership, but again, ownership is only fun if the game is fun. But let's be honest, because we see a lot of negative talk about ownership. But what if Fortnite or Overwatch would be selling apartments in their game tomorrow? I think people would go crazy about it. So, but why? Because it's a popular game and it's fun to play. And can you imagine starting in your own apartment in one of those games? I think gamers would love it. You see gamers sometimes playing a lot of money for a mythical sword or a certain skin, you know? So yeah, gamers do love that, but it starts with quality game. So in-game tokens, we spoke about that. Yeah, it's great, of course, if you can earn tokens and then do something off-chain with it as well. So that's I think that is an advantage. But again, there it comes all to it needs to be a good game. Consensus service is something that you can use on Hedera. You can timestamp a lot of stuff. This is actually more something that Milan would be able to explain in detail what you can do with that. Dynamic NFTs, where you see your NFTs on your phone and you can see all the upgrades that you made. So that is something that I think is very cool as well. Safe selling. There are some games, not too many, it's really small percentage where you can indeed sell your items that you made in the game per item. But there's a lot of scams going around there. And if you do it on chain, yeah, it's a lot safer. And NFTs, people might think, yeah, that's just an image. Yeah, but that era is long gone, because an NFT is so much more than just that. You can even have music as an NFT. And if you have your items on chain, it's going to be so much easier and safer to sell. So this is something that I see, even if it were just this, I see this as a very cool feature for online marketplaces that are registered on chain. So yes, there are a lot of advantages, but really it needs to be gaming first, and then you add these tools. And that's what we try to tell people. So, and that ties in with something else. A lot of Web3 projects, to me, are a bit misleading, because they do shield their project, and I think this is also now a bit of the past, because luckily I see this less and less, but especially 2-3 years ago, they were shilling, look, you can own your items, yay, but it only has value if the project is good. Another project, Axie Infinity, there you have this dilemma again, there where you do need to buy yourself in. So you need to buy like $400 worth of Axies. Maybe they're now cheaper, I don't know, but that was last time I checked. And then you play to earn, because that's their sales where you play to earn. But is that attracting gamers? No, they want to play to have fun. And there's no guarantee that you'll earn your $100 back. And so that's really why we don't like this whole play to earn scenario. Yes, it's great if you can earn the in-game tokens that they have value, but it should be gaming first. What's then to look for in a Web3 game / metaverse? Because we've learned a lot. And if anyone looks at a game, I think there's, maybe we can even make this list longer, Joey. Maybe you have some
Yeah,
points,
for sure.
Yeah, while we talk about it, we might even get to some points. But if you build a game yourself on Web3, then I guess this is a nice checklist that you can have as well. So ask yourself, first point, is their game appealing to you? Because if it's not appealing to you, why do you think that gamers will come in by the masses? Simple as that. And if gamers won't come in by the masses, then yeah, does it have a future? And how do they plan to onboard all these people? So we spoke about this many times in our white paper. It's explained as well. So, but do they have a plan? Because yeah, of course, if the game looks amazing and is unique, then you don't even need a plan for that. If you
There's two ways, right? There's two ways to onboard the masses. Either you spend $100 million on marketing and get everybody to at least go look at the game, or you create something that is fun and addictive and everybody shares it with their friends and family. I think the way the most successful games as of late, especially the indies have done it, is that they create something fun and addictive and everybody shares it with everyone they know. You can spend $100 million and fail, but if you create something fun and addicting, it's going to have some staying power.
Yeah, if you deliver quality, it just cuts down your marketing costs. So third point, is it a team with a Web2 approach? I added, we see too many cowboys. You and I, we stumbled upon a project on another chain a while ago, and they had a beautiful website with beautiful ladies, all made with AI. And all these beautiful ladies, they had these tight pants with camel toes, but over the top. What does that say about the team? I'm sorry, but then for me, it's game over already. Are they transparent? Well, we spoke about that. Can you find them? If nothing is known about them, and then the next points there, a little bit more below, are very important. So how do they interact with the community? Are they easy to engage with? Do they avoid answering the difficult questions? Even in some cases, you get blocked for difficult questions. That's not a good sign, because you as an NFT holder of that project deserve an answer on these questions. So we answered all the questions that people had back then. And so should any project. So that comes back, because I skipped one. How are their tokenomics? Well, Joey already answered it. There are no perfect tokenomics, but I think, Joey, you have seen tokenomics that really scared you off.
Yeah, I think yeah, you see some that it really comes down to, like I said before, sustainability. Like, are you building your tokenomics to get a bunch of money and sell on hype and then run off into the night? Or are you building something where the team has to put their time and dues in to get a return? And that's what we've done. It's a long-term process where the team is the return will come if we're successful, and not until we're successful, right? We're not taking a bunch of money up front. We didn't take a bunch of venture capital money up front that's going to allow people to dump the token. We went the long-term route, to the point where our rewards wallet with our tokenomics is scheduled to last a minimum of 14 years. And that's because we not only want to build out Europe, we want to build out all of the continents and have gameplay for young people now and into the future when they have children. That would be the dream, is to have a brand that stays for generations of people. That's the goal with any company that's not looking for a quick exit.
Do something else. Do they use bots on X to give unrealistic community numbers? And that's something that blows me off all the time. You see a new project and boom, they have 50,000 or more community members on X. And to me, again, that says something about the team. They're just bluffing their way up. And unfortunately, well, Joey, we spoke about this, sometimes companies do look at that when they do or do not want to invest in you, because just because a company is big, it doesn't mean that all the people there who work there are super smart and don't fall for these fake metrics. We never did that. We never had bots fill up our X account or Discord. If you want to check these things, just go to their Discord and look at the comments. If it's all short answers, I want to DM with you, good game, fun to play, to the moon, all these short answers. If there's a 100 of these answers, it's bots. Don't fall for it. And then you need to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Because if that product is good, why do they need bots to shill their product? So, and also in Discord, you see that a lot. So that is something that I look at as well to get a feel of what the team behind the game is like. And then again, if they are a metaverse without gameplay, how do they plan to fill it? Because yeah, a metaverse is walking around, dancing in a stadium and exploring the metaverse, I guess. But if you want to have an exploring metaverse, then it must look so insanely good that you want to stay there for hours. If they don't have these great ingredients and they only aim for the Web3 space, then that's a small audience. And you need to ask yourself, what is the long-term vision of this project? How are they going to get these players in? I imagine, Joey, if Facebook or X, if they were to start a metaverse, they've got millions upon millions of people who will just go there for the hype and would love it.
One of them's already scrapped their metaverse because they didn't have anything sustainable. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I know what you mean. So, but if even those big giant leaders, industry leaders can't do it, why do you think that someone on a chain where people stay in that bubble again, they can do it? And Decentraland didn't even make it, and they were worth 10 billion. So ask yourself these questions and ask them to the team. So that ties in with the last point. So is there a long-term vision? So of course, we're not saying that we are perfect, but we do draw lessons out of everything, every month that we build, every time that we have a conversation, all the research we do. Yeah, we do draw a lesson from that, and we do try to improve and learn from the mistakes made. And I think that's something so that every project needs to do, be honest about what you're building. So you can reverse these questions, by the way, as well. And there's probably more points that you can add to it. If you are wanting to build a game or a metaverse, well, look at this list and see if what would you answer to yourself?
Well, I would say on this, the hardest thing to do is to try to build a metaverse and then add games to it, right? We learned that, like, Seoul, Korea built a metaverse for their city and government. That's understandable. Like, people can jump online and walk around and go to the office and pay a bill or those things, but to say we're going to build a metaverse that's going to be fun, that everybody's going to show up and hang out, and we're going to build a tree house and everybody's going to meet at the tree house and we're going to listen to music. I don't see how that's possible.
So then we get to the last slide, look beyond the hype. Hype is true for many projects, also outside of Web3. If you look at any chart of a big company, Amazon, or maybe Elon Musk with his Tesla company, you see that they go up a lot, people jumping in on the hype, but there's a quality project behind it, of course, but sometimes it dumps hard as well. It's not something that's uncommon anywhere, but we do see that sometimes it's a bit too common maybe in the Web3 space. And what we wanted to do with what we've been speaking about now is telling people not only to look at the hype, but also to have a long-term look at a project. It is true that gaming is trending. We see a lot of YouTubers saying that gaming is something that we will see next to AI, and some other DeepIn is something that they're calling out for as well. Some other trending things in Web3, and it is with good reason. I do admit that. Am I biased? Yeah, I'm creating a game. But there again, as we showed in this video, just look at the product, and gaming is trending. Almost half the population is gaming, and even when we had all these dips in the markets, gaming didn't care. People kept gaming. Gaming will always be popular. And more people are working from home and using the computer. So I imagine it's still going to grow. It's easy to understand. It's appealing to people. It has real utility and a broad audience, young and old. And these 4 points tie in with why it is still also trending in Web3. Joey, would you like to add something to that?
I think it just goes to the points that we've made throughout this video. You see things come and go on hype, especially in Web3. They come, everybody jumps in. We won't get into meme coins, but and then they go away. And gaming's something that's been here since the 80s, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And all Web3 gaming is doing is adding a better usability functionality to the whole gaming industry. So as people see quality Web3 games come out and understand that all they're doing is helping their gaming experience, I think we'll see the whole market continue to grow and have a sustainable, long life.
Yeah. Well, then I guess we got to the end of this recording. I hope that if you are a builder or someone who looks into what next project they want to step into, then I hope we gave you some nice tips and tricks there. It's things that Joey and I learned while working on a game in Web3. I especially learned so much. I can't even compare myself the way I look at Web3 projects now to how I looked at it 2 years ago. And I think the same can be said to you, for you.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, so if you are really building on Web3, you look from another perspective. And we want to share this perspective, the viewpoints that we have with people, so they can also make good decisions. And we won't be right every time. We won't have a flawless right in the coming years. We are still just people, and we think that the approach that one has to take is a Web2 approach, where all the points that we spoke of should be checked. Yeah. So our team is still building a lot of new exciting stuff. I've been able to share it with some insiders already, and they were very enthusiastic. So a lot is coming out. Keep an eye out on our channels and keep safe, especially in Web3. Thank you for listening in.
Thanks, everyone.